Hey, everybody. I'm just trying to connect. Copy and paste the stream software. This unique tells your. Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Looks like I got it. Okay. So today we're talking about presentation secrets that will close more deals first visit than anything else that you can do. And even more importantly than that, that these presentation secrets are what is lacking and missing in the industry, what customers, and it's not entirely our fault, and yet there's a little bit of responsibility for us to take on to this for ourselves. And what's happened is coming off of the inventory shortage, the pandemic protocol, just the fury and frenzy of buying that happened when we couldn't get product, when we didn't have product, and there were, excuse me, pardon me, let me get a drink of water real fast. There were so many customers that were, for whatever reason, very anxious to buy and needed to replace their vehicle. That's unfortunate. Some buyers just wanted to have another new vehicle, and this was their rotation, their trade cycle, in other words. And some customers who were entering the marketplace, which will always have new first-time buyers, and that could be anybody that has moved to a new country and starting a business or working here, or whatever the case is, whatever the reason is that somebody needs to buy. We had this fury and this frenzy of buying activity, which is super, but that also meant that we didn't need to do these dynamite product presentations. We didn't need to do unbelievable demonstration drives. We didn't need to do amazing delivery experiences because there was another buyer coming around the corner all the time. Now, as we transition and move forward into a normal automobile selling marketplace, what many of you may be experiencing is that it's tough. It's tough to sell automobiles. Customers are shopping more. They're really sensitive to the price. They're not buying like they used to. And for the seasoned veterans, for those of you that have been at this for a long time, you're looking for the answers. How can we do this better? You're also probably thinking, can we go back to 2021, 2022, and 2023? No, we can't. Those chapters were written, they are closed, they're part of the book. We cannot take them out. They established a point in history that will probably never get to be repeated again. I mean, we really hope that never happens again. So many of our manufacturers have assured us that they're taking countermeasures for that very purpose, to ensure that it never catches us off guard again. And prior to that, it wasn't the first time that we'd experienced the inventory shortage. Tsunamis had influenced and made business difficult because we couldn't get the product that customers wanted so badly. And the point that I want to make is that regardless of where you are in your selling career, whether you've started out and you're looking for the secrets and the tactics to be able to sell more and more first visit, rather than allowing the customer to go home and think about it like they said that they would. And then, of course, they never come back. They ghost us. And that happens for a variety of reasons. You can go back into my other videos and have a look at that. And certainly on Facebook, on the private members group, you want to go and have a look at those quickly because they get deleted every 30 days. For those of you watching this on YouTube and watching this through LinkedIn, you're going to be able to go back, to my knowledge, forever and see those other videos. What is happening today is the customer's expecting a better presentation from us. Keep in mind, we sell the second greatest financial decision next to buying a house. That makes our product high ticket. And I don't think a lot of new salespeople and struggling salespeople really get that. And that's the reason why you may not believe that every shopper is a buyer. For the seasoned veterans, like, pardon me, excuse me, like Max is a participant in this program, in our membership program, the Auto Dealership Academy, and he has been participating in the manifesto for over a year now, which is magnificent, wonderful. He had a record selling month for himself in April. Keep in mind, this year's forecast to be a down market, at least flat and possibly down by as much as 4%. which if you sell 100 cars a year, that puts you at 96. With a little bit of effort, you should be able to get yourself up over 100. Max did 53 in the month of April alone. And the reason being is that Max can't sell that many cars not being efficient at what he does. He recognized that the activities that lead to the sale unquestionably are the thing that's going to make him great and differentiate him in the marketplace from all other salespeople. But his ability to target hot buttons that whether and you could debate and argue with me that, well, Max is an anomaly, and he is and he isn't, but Joe at a Mercedes-Benz dealership has been with me for over 25 years, sells that on a regular basis and makes a 7-figure income, not one time, not during the inventory shortage, not during the pandemic protocol, but routinely did that before that point, because Joe's the AMG guy. If you live in Joe's city and you want to purchase a Mercedes-Benz, specifically an AMG trim level, and you ask any one of your friends that is an AMG aficionado, Joe's name's coming up, and they're going to tell you point blank, go to him. So what happens with Joe and Max, and Glenn is a Chevrolet salesperson, Max is a Ford salesperson. Glenn sells, well, he did a 7-figure income during the inventory shortage, which kudos to him. I think Glenn told me he's not quite there anymore, doesn't expect that to happen again. That was, again, an anomaly for him. What all these guys, these high achievers, do really, really well is follow the activities that lead to the sale, which I covered last week. This week is about the presentation secrets, which is one of the 3 of the activities in the 8 activities that lead to the sale, right? This is your walk around presentation, your demonstration drive, and your delivery procedure. For the seasoned veterans, they put more emphasis on the delivery presentation because that's really where you solidify the repeat referral business. This is where people go out of their way to tell everybody else. And depending on the product that you sell and the technology that is involved in that vehicle, and of course, you can just imagine what it's like for Joe at Mercedes-Benz, it may require 2 or 3 deliveries because not only are you battling an age and a technologically deficient or a technologically, I'm trying to pick the right word here, technologically held back individual because of age and that demographic. Joe's got to walk them through from a very ground level, not to mention Joe is no spring chicken himself. So learning the technology was probably a challenge for him, but he probably learned it the right way and said, you know what, if you learn it the way I learn it, and we're technology immigrants, which means the technology has been dumped in our lap and now we need to figure it out and capitalize in order to be able to capitalize on it. Well, there's a ramp to that. There's an uphill battle. Whereas a technology resident, such as our children who are 20s, 30s, maybe even early 40s, have always been accustomed and familiar to the technology, those deliveries happen a whole lot quicker, but that's not the primary source of their buyers. So in order for any one of them to sell into 20s, 30s, and like Max in the 50s, and like Glenn routinely selling 40 vehicles plus per month, we need to be able to create such indelible impressions about our sales system, which you can call it process, that is customer focused and very, very customer friendly, in order for other buyers to say, I will go out of my way to deal with your guy. So let's back it up a step. So if you're coming into automobile sales and you're relatively new, or you've been selling for 6 months or more, and you're essentially kind of new as well, or maybe you've been struggling along for 10 years and you don't have, number one, the marketplace that those guys have because they're all in a metro center. Number two, you don't have the portfolio that they have because you may not have been at that dealership for a very long period of time. And number three, you may just say, Bill, I just don't have the product line that those other brands have, that mystique, that vast array of product that can appeal to so many buyers. And I'm here to tell you that none of that really matters. At the end of the day, there are so many bad automobile salespeople out there that if you can just get your message out, that you are customer focused, that other customers will refer you, and you've got that perfect third-party proof of your customer experience score, or your customer satisfaction indicator, and to be able to leverage that in any of your social media, in any of your email endeavors, which are all an organic version of prospecting. And we'll cover that next month in June, prospect harvesting, to really capitalize on those people. These product presentations that you do right now solidify everything that you're telling customers that you are. By focusing in on the hot buttons, the things that really trigger them to want to buy, is the fastest and easiest way for you to do several product presentations in a day. And always remember, it's a funnel. So our basic closing ratio determines the funnel. If your closing ratio is 1 in 5, which is considered to be average across the marketplace, and I don't believe it is even that high, but if that is what your closing ratio is, good for you. That means you need to speak to 5 qualified leads in order to get 1 sale. In order to sell 10 vehicles a month, you got to have 50 qualified leads to sell 10 automobiles. And when you think about it, it's not that hard to do. What makes it hard is when the customer comes in and says, I'm just doing my research. I'm shopping the marketplace. We're seeing what's out there. We're determining what is right for us. And all you need to do in order for you to capitalize on selling this first visit, so they don't need to go home and think about it, and so that you don't rely on the fact that BBACs close at 73% and better, get them right now by taking them out on a product presentation that focuses on what they're most interested in. And we've talked about this before, and go back into previous sessions where I get into the buyer behavior and how that orients what your presentation will be really about, determines the hot buttons that you can present to them. You're going to tell me and debate with me at great length, no 2 customers are the same, Bill, and the assertive customer, the one that wants the best price, is your greatest nemesis, and you just can't seem to do anything with them. They won't let you do a product presentation, and I get it. Been there. I know what it's like. I just renewed my dealer's license, and I'm thinking to myself the very same thing. It's like, wow, nothing's changed. I go through the same stuff you do, and I'm the teacher. I'm the guy that writes the stuff. I'm the guy that helps you achieve your maximum potential. And here I am selling automobiles and going through the same thing that you are. When we don't identify the hot buttons, the reason why this customer is entering the trade cycle and trying to get rid of the vehicle they're currently driving, moving forward in the car that they would like to, and by car, you know what I mean, car, truck, van, SUV, going forward to the new purchase that they want to have, when we willy-nilly, when we wing it, when we just puke information about the automobile, and we don't really take the time to understand what the customer is looking for, we don't ask super simple questions. Like, it's so fundamental. Think of yourself buying an automobile. If you were selling to yourself and you were buying from yourself and you didn't know yourself and you really didn't want to waste any time, so that's the reason why you come, blasting into the dealership on your lunch hour. You don't have any time to have a look at the vehicle. You just want best price, so that if it is in fact the best price, you'll come back on the weekend, or you come back tomorrow, or you come back next week with your spouse, with your dad, with your brother, with your grandfather, with your coworker, with your mechanic, with your dog, to make sure that the vehicle is perfect for everybody. The reason why that happens is that we don't ask them, what do you really love about the car that you're currently driving? It's as simple as that. If you were selling to yourself, I'll bet unquestionably, and this is how I came up with it, you'd probably want to know that, because going forward to the next new vehicle, and I don't mean to date myself here, but there was a time where we didn't have cup holders in automobiles. There was a time, my very first car, both of my brand new very first cars, I had, this is going back a long time ago now, I had both my 2 new cars did not have drink holders. And the second new car I had, I actually put a folding collapsible drink holder in the automobile that is intended for boats. My boat, my dad's boat, wasn't my boat. My dad's boat at the time had drink holders in it. And then my automobile did not. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know any waterway that has a drive-through for coffee or soft drinks or anything like that in order for you to be able to put in the drink holder. You have to be really intentional with a boat. You pack a cooler and you go out, and obviously the drink holder is convenient. An automobile, we had drive-throughs at the time, and a lot of them, and they were very popular. And here we had nowhere to hold a mug. I was sharing that exact same conversation with a German manufacturer, and they had refused back in the day to put drink holders in the vehicle, just thinking it's a waste of time and development and energy and real estate in the vehicle to do so. And so the American counterpart invited a number of the executives over, and the executives coming from Germany wanted to go to the fast food chain, McDonald's being the most popular one at the time. And they ordered their meal deal, and they were handed the drink, and there they sat in the vehicle with their meal deal and their pop. And they said to the driver of the car, where do we put our drink so that we can eat our hamburger? And he goes, well, we don't have cup holders, so you're going to have to be very careful about it. You're going to have to hold it somewhere. So that precipitated cup holders. Now, I'm not saying you have to have that kind of story, and I'm not saying you go after the customer and ask them, a cup holder is an important thing in your vehicle. But going back to that time and date, yeah, cup holders would have been a big idea, a big deal. In fact, Saab, the automobile manufacturer, and currently the airplane manufacturer, they won an award for the cup holder they had. So if you were to ask anybody coming in on a Saab automobile at that time, what's important to you in your next new vehicle? And they said cup holders. Say, you're going to absolutely love our butterfly cup holder. Press this button. And it was really really entertaining how it folded out and twisted in such a way that it was a presentation of a cup holder. It wasn't just a hole in the center console where you look at it, doesn't need a whole lot of explanation what that thing is for. That's what holds the coffee cup or the soft drink. Or, so many people drinking water, like my family. I'm very guilty of not consuming enough water. And as many of you may or may not know, I race mountain bikes as entertainment and fun, and it's a local league. So this isn't a national. I used to race national and provincial and all of that great stuff. Now it's just with friends on a local evening ride, but I should be drinking water, and a lot of it, on a regular basis. And I don't. Now my family does, and it kind of annoys me a little wee bit because the containers are really big and they're narrowed down at the bottom, so they will fit in a traditional, let's call it coffee mug, can of pop size drink holder. Well, if you had a bigger or a variable or a heated or cooled drink holder, wouldn't that be amazing? If that was important to your client. If they needed to have heated or cooled, you can pretty much rest assured that they've got it currently in their vehicle now. So they want to have that again. That's where heated seats and heated steering wheel and massage seats and air conditioned seats pop up as well. If you don't ask these questions while you're walking and talking, doing your interview, arriving at the vehicle selection, leading into the vehicle presentation, well, how do you know that you're presenting to yourself, if you were the buyer, what you wanted to know in order for you to make this second greatest financial decision to purchase that automobile? These are the secrets of selling first visit, let alone presentation secrets. Presentations are the secret to selling first visit. Getting somebody out on a demonstration drive that doesn't want to go, not forcibly taking them out, arriving at the conclusion in their own mind. They're the ones that say to you, can I take it out? That is a micro commitment that you're going to close the deal right now. That is the best signal in the entire world that you're going to sell an automobile right now. And remember, this isn't like a pack of gum. This isn't even like selling cell phones at your favorite electronics store or the kiosk in the mall. Now, those individuals probably sell 1, 2, 3 Costco. I'll bet they sell 4, 5, 10, 20 phones a day, let alone a week or a month, whatever the case is. It's really easy for somebody to make that $2,000 decision on an iPhone 17 Pro Max compared to making the decision on a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $140,000 automobile. I think the decision is way easier to make a decision to purchase a $2,000 phone. Not to mention, you don't even need to spend that much. You can put it on the payment plan as well, the cell phone payment plan, where you don't even need to really fill out a credit application anymore. If you've already got a payment plan, if you've already got a subscription rate, you probably have an upgrade, which is the enticement to do it right now. That's why presentations of those products do not compare to us. I've heard average ordinary automobile sales trainers make a horrible correlation to how Apple does things, to how Lord and Taylor's does things, Holt Renfrew does things. It's wonderful for us to identify those elite level items, even high-end jewelry, but it's not relevant with respect to the average ordinary automobile buyer that is spending, well, in Canada, the Ford Bronco, their Sport, is their least expensive automobile now since they've done away with the Escape. And a lot of dealers are upset about it and concerned that some of their clients will not be able to afford it. Now we're handing it to competitors on a silver platter, and it's a careless move by the manufacturer. Whatever the case is, the manufacturer is not foolish. They know what their demographic is and who they're going to sell to. So as much as that doesn't appear to be a very strategic, beneficial move, there is an underlying reason why they went to that. And I think the dealers just have to be patient and wait for that to happen. If you're being affected by it as a salesperson, be patient, wait to see how this is going to transpire. But the bottom line is you can take an Escape buyer and move them into, and I'm talking a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old Escape buyer, move them into a newer automobile, a Bronco, based on the design of the vehicle alone, the fact that it's newer, latest and greatest of super technology, by doing a presentation that addresses what they must have based on the vehicle they currently have and the research that they have done. Make no mistake, everybody has done an enormous amount of research before coming in. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know the customers thought about it, talked about it, researched the marketplace. They've touched and felt it where they can't buy it. Now they're here to talk to you to buy it. You can rest assured that they know what that vehicle has. And there's probably a number of features on it that they're not clear on how those features operate. So if you were selling to yourself, let me button this up for you and bring this full circle, land the plane, so to speak. If you were selling to yourself, and you really wanted to buy the automobile, and there's some features on the automobile that you're not really clear how they necessarily work. Wouldn't it be great if you were to ask yourself, is there any feature on the automobile that you're not clear on how it works based on the research that you've done? Which leads us to Max's favorite question. And he'll say to someone, with all the makes and models out there, how do you determine that this is the vehicle that you would like to own? Isn't that a magnificent question to ask when they're in the showroom with all the makes and models that are out there? Now you know how much shopping they're doing. Now you know how much research has been completed. Now you know where they are in the buying cycle. How did you pick this one? Now Max has just solidified unquestionably everything that we are uncertain about why this customer wants to buy. And you'll learn all of this and so much more becoming a member of the Auto Dealership Academy. And this is our manifesto of 3 phases and 9 steps that we call biology. And this is how customers buy. You will achieve your goals, that of selling 10 a month or 20 a month or 30 a month, or like Max, over 50 a month, because we take you through 9 steps that are so easily to implement. The actions that you just simply have to take is watch the video, download the PDF, and then put it into action. You'll get a chance to see weekly classes like this. I had it this morning at 10 o'clock for an entire hour with a Q&A afterwards. So you get a chance to work with me directly. Not to mention, if any of it doesn't make sense, you get a chance to work with me one-on-one. I'm not here to sell you on it. I'm just here to share with you, this is how Max, this is how Joe, this is how Glenn have become such high achievers, not to mention a host of others, Kelly and Rebecca and Jen and Chandler and Dalton, and the list goes on and on. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I'm Bill Harvey with the Auto Sales Academy and the Private Members Facebook group, and I'd love to talk to you about the Auto Dealership Academy, which is another private members group, which you do have to be a member of in order to be able to get it. You're watching this on LinkedIn as well as YouTube Live and Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me. This is great. If you want to know more about our manifesto biology, I will put a link below. You get a chance to talk to me on the phone, or we can Zoom and I can share with you my screen. There is no reason why you cannot sell 10, 20, and 30 vehicles per month with predictable consistency. That should be your goal, not 20 vehicles per month. Anybody can do that one time. And I know that's a stretch. You may say, no one in our dealership has ever done that in the history of the whole dealership. That's fine. That may be the case, but somebody can do it. That is possible. It's only 10 new, 10 used. It's only 15 new and 5 used. It's only 15 used and 5 new. It's very, very doable. 20. But the secret is predictable consistency. If you want to sell 10 with predictable consistency, if you want to sell 15 with predictable consistency, reach out to me. I can share with you all the details, including the cost. It's very affordable. We've priced it to attract as many people as we possibly can. And quite frankly, my mission is to make sure that you never go through what I had to go through. I had that one horrible month where I just couldn't sell anyone anything. It's because my commission breath was stinky, because I was desperate to put a deal together. And I just made a vow at that point in time, if I ever became a manager, this is how I would teach my people. If I ever became a dealer principal, this is what I would teach my managers, and I would teach my sales team how to do. And I was really fortunate. I've accomplished both of those goals in life. And then I realized as well, my forte, my acumen is speaking, training, and developing these systems. So I do so at the Automotive Business School of Canada, doing so with manufacturers such as BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Cadillac, Honda, Hyundai, Acura, Toyota, Ford, both corporately and retail level too. So if you want to know more about it, reach out to me. Happy to share all those details with you. If you don't want to be sold, you just point blank say, Bill, I want to talk to you. I want to tell you what my problem is. Can you help me rectify it? I'm not buying the program. I get it. That's perfectly fine. I have lots of those conversations. And of course, follow along and capitalize on the free training that continues to be leveraged out here. But there's so much more inside the manifesto to get you to where you want to be, on track to make 100K this year, selling 10, 20, and 30 vehicles with predictable consistency. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week. It will be a recording. I am on stage next week facilitating a seminar, so it won't be live, but you will be able to view the recording, and then we'll resume our live sessions the following week after that. Thanks so much. By the way, join me in June for that following week. I think it's June 9th or so. Oh, no, it would be later than that. Anyhow, it's the Thursday, second week of June, where we get into prospect harvesting. If you are not where you want to be this time of the year, this is now 2/3 of the way two-thirds of the way through Q2 of the year. If you are not where you want to be in terms of sales and in terms of income, there is runway ahead of you in order to accomplish that. But you do not want to do these suggestions of prospect harvesting in December. You don't want to start doing that in December, because it's going to take time in order for you to be able to bring those people into you to be able to put them together. So be sure to be here next 2 weeks time for prospect harvesting, where we harvest buyers. We're just not willy-nilly, blindly prospecting and spammy email and cold calling and door knocking. None of that works. Don't do it. What I'm going to share with you are the unintentional buyers lurking within your dealership and within your network, that if you want to sell 20 vehicles per month and you can sell 8 just by showing up and being a warm body on the floor, which is the average salesperson's rate, then you can easily get to 20 with our prospect harvesting tactics of repeat referral, network, and service department upgrades. So be sure to attend that class. If I don't talk to you before that, have a wonderful day, super weekend, and I'll see you again real soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.